Dating app Bumble has laid off 30% of its staff after losing 350,000 users last year.
Maybe they all got married.
Well, I was going to say, if you think 350,000 people found their love of their life last year, you would be wrong. When I read this headline, nothing, not even like 1% of it surprised me. I 100% can believe that this many people have been off the dating apps.
Have you deleted Bumble?
I've just re-downloaded it. So I'm helping them out.
That's supportive.
I think I talked about it in this podcast. I deleted dating apps in December last year after an unfavorable breakup where a man messaged me saying that he found someone else. Took a break. So much happened in my life. Re-downloaded them. First person pop-up was said man with a little message from Hinge saying most compatible.
No.
And I'm like, now I know why people delete these apps.
So tell me why they think this is, because it's not just Bumble. Is across the board. They're saying that every dating app is down, dating app usage is on the floor. And some people might go, well, this is quite hopeful. Maybe people are meeting in person again. Why do you think it is that dating apps are kind of on the nose at the moment?
I've been on dating apps for on and off for a very, very long time. And there was a time in my life, I think I would have probably been like 19, 20, where they were the best. I feel like a lot of millennials met their long-term partners on dating apps, and they always talk about, our producer M talks about how great they were. That has changed completely.
It's been a long time since someone said they met their partner on the apps.
It's a very millennial thing.
It's a very millennial thing. It's changed completely. Dating apps are a complete cesspit.
Why?
It's now turned into, I want to say, like a social media app. Like, I remember talking on the podcast that I would use dating apps for a point in my life where I just had them as dopamine hits. So every time I felt like something was a bit off at work or something, I'll just literally go into my phone, do some swipes, see who liked me, and that's all I needed.
Because it's like gambling. I imagine part of the attraction is gambling. It's like at any time I could swipe and find that person. When I was single, I used to call it single energy. I used to be able to stay up much later in clubs or bars or whatever, or parties, because there was always that potential and that hope that I might meet that person.
Oh, yeah. But you're not even meeting people in person anymore. So with like dating apps, I feel like, firstly, there's so many options now with dating apps because they want people to stay on them for longer.
So what do you mean?
So Hinge's slogan is made to be deleted. Completely untrue. People love staying on dating.
Made to be deleted?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Because it's like play on like you will find the person you love, so then you'll delete the app. So it's made for you you to then delete the app.
Which is not a good business model for the app, right? So it only occurred to me recently that all of these apps are disincentivized to try and match people who are good matches.
Yeah, so I read some analysis, and some of it's speculation because I don't believe that their algorithms are sort of public knowledge, but there is pretty good intel that suggests that they will know who would be really compatible with them, and he's not going to be the first person they give her.
Okay.
So they'll sort of give him a bunch of other people, and then now when I was on dating apps, there wasn't an option to pay. But now it's like there's this top tier where they'll go, well, Em, we'll give you him if you give us a bit of money.
What do you pay for?
Okay, so on some dating apps, because you can swipe and swipe and swipe, so now they've set limits for free users. Like you can only do 10 swipes a day. So you do your 10 swipes and then you get to your 11th swipe and you see the love of your life. The hottest person you've ever seen in your life.
That's where they put M's perfect match.
Exactly.
Behind the paywall.
And I will admit I did pay $70 for Bumble Premium. And then I saw this option saying that, do you want your profile to be seen by the people you've swiped right on straight away? I'm like, of course. So I'm like, okay, I want that. So I tick it. Premium Plus, $90 a month.
So a month?
Oh, actually, I think it's $100 a month.
A month?
Yeah, I'm paying $70 a month.
That is ridiculous.
And you know what's really annoying about it is that they have the packages, right? Because if you pay monthly, it will be cheaper than paying weekly. So in your head, you have to be like, how long do I plan on being single? Do I get the 3-month package? Do I get the 6-month package?
How optimistic am I that I will find someone?
Yeah.
Because I was listening to these researchers talk about this exact phenomenon on a podcast called Plain English over the weekend. And these researchers were saying that none of this indicates that people are meeting in real life. That simply isn't happening. People aren't doing the dating apps and they're not approaching people at bars. It's just
people have just given up.
Yeah.
And they're home with their vibrator.
Yeah. The amount of people in their 20s who have never dated is higher than ever, right? They said that the people who dating apps are still really good for are people who are in their 40s, their 50s, and in the 80s, if that was you, it was really hard to date because you didn't know who else was single, you didn't know who else was looking. But now it's almost become their domain because they kind of like know who they're looking for. You can set your age range, whatever. And so for Gen Zs, I think that it's not really the domain for young people anymore.
No, but it's also the marketing is just so interesting, especially the gendered marketing for dating apps. And this is in heterosexual relationships. But I had so many male friends who automatically would pay for like Tinder Premium, Hinge Premium, because it is much harder being a straight man on a dating app than it is being a straight woman. Like they get no matches at all. They'll have one. No one goes up to a guy and it's like, hey mate, let me get a photo of you. You look really good. So they have the worst photos from like 2013. So they're all paying. And then Tinder and stuff were like, how do we get women to pay? So now you have to pay if you want a height preference, which is very smart.
What do you mean by a height preference?
So if you want to date a man of a certain height, you can change your preferences to only give you men who are like above 6 feet or something. And they will only show you men who are above 6 feet in their profile.
Imagine if there was the equivalent of that. I wonder if there is, about men who could say, I want women of a certain BMI. And how upset people would be about that.
Well, you can put ethnicity preferences in there. You can put height, you can put religious preferences, if they want kids, if they don't want kids, if they want long-term relationship, if they want casual sex. You can literally form the perfect person in your head.
But does it cost – so for women is the only barrier that you've got to pay for height?
No, all of the preferences are payment. But like men are more likely to pay because they want their profile to be shown to more women. So you have all these options of what payment will get you.
So this is what my researchers were telling me. They were saying that in the dating app world, for the top 1% who are basically ridiculously attractive, it works for them. But for everyone else, it's a market that's too competitive and you're just going to disappear. So whereas if you meet someone at a bar or you meet someone in person, you are filtering, whether you know it or not, for 100 things at once, for how they smell, for how they walk, for how they move their body.
You can even put voice memos in there so you can hear their voice.
And that's what dating apps are trying to do, but really it is a two-dimensional
so commodified, isn't it?
Looking at your face. And what these people were saying is that initial chemistry, what someone looks like, actually has nearly no bearing on the success of a like long-term happy relationship. And that is why the most successful relationships often happen when people meet, not only in real life, but meet in situations where they meet again and again and again. So the workplace, friendship groups, that kind of thing, because you probably won't have love at first sight, but it's a
slow burn.
You'll do the scan and you'll go no, and then they'll come back and then you'll get more data points and you'll go and then you'll get more data points, and before you know it, you're like, oh, maybe I'm attracted to this person. So that's how we're wired, and dating apps have not served us.
That's actually so true, because when I was dating my ex-partner, I met him through friends and we got on really, really well when we were dating, and then in our initial dating phase, he showed me his Hinge profile and I was like, there's no way I would have swiped right on you.
No, of course not. The real world is not about 10s and 2s. That's not how you work. I didn't meet my partner and go, is he a 10 or like how would you?
And you wouldn't have never met him on the apps because
he wouldn't have been in my age range.
He wouldn't have been in your age range. Can you just explain the difference broadly between the different apps? So there's like Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, like what's the difference?
So Tinder is like the OG app. I feel like that's the one everyone is across. That one has the most users. It's also worldwide known. So it's just like one that's just completely honing in on the market. It turned into a bit of a hookup app when the other apps came on board. Tinder has now done a full 180 where people are actually finding relationships again on Tinder. So if you're looking for a relationship, give Tinder a go.
And Bumble, the difference with Bumble was that the woman reaches out first, right?
Women reaches out first, but now that's slightly changed. So now you can have a set question on your Bumble profile where a man can answer if you don't want to be the first one messaging. So they also have Bumble BFF and Bumble Business. I know a lot of friends from overseas when they travel around, they meet a lot of friends through Bumble BFF.
I also know women who are downloading an app called Her.
Oh, I've never heard of Her.
Which is for queer women.
Oh.
Women who are interested in dating other women. And
is it successful?
Yeah, I know a few people who've met women like that, or women who are curious, or there's a whole lot of things that you can fill out.
And there's Grindr for men.
Yeah.
Hinge is probably
and
kind of
Raya.
like,
you could be on Raya now. Because for famous people.
I've been on Raya's waiting list for 7 years.
You could meet Orlando.
Sweetie.
Ben Affleck, remember the Instagram video he sent that girl?
He's
Yes,
probably still there.
yes.
So Raya's for famous people, but I interrupted you saying Hinge. What about Hinge?
Hinge is like kind of a new-ish one. It doesn't have that many users, but it's probably the one, I want to say all the hot people are on Hinge. Like they have this section on Hinge called the Rose Jail. Well, we call it the Rose Jail. Well, they'll put the hottest people you've ever seen in your life in this little section where you don't just swipe right on them. No. You have to put yourself out there and hand them a rose, a digital rose, and you only get 1 rose a week. So when you give them a rose, they know that you've
Oh my God.
used a
They think
weekly
they're the
rose.
Bachelor.
Have you ever given a rose?
Look, there's been some dark times in my life.
Oh, it's late at night.
Sometimes you just see a guy on Hinge and he's not only hot, but he also just has the right prompts, right? He's got like feminist in his profile.
Yeah.
He's got I've only got sisters in his profile.
What's a prompt? Just like a description.
Oh, yeah. It's like you get like a set. So Hinge has all of these, like probably 1,000 questions that you can choose from, and then you can reply to them and have that on your profile. So it's like my ideal date will look like
Right.
beach and movies. And a lot of people are really witty in that. The thing is you have to be really funny because you have to show your sense of humor.
So you no longer have to write your own profile.
No,
you just
yeah.
answer a few questions.
Yeah, they
Oh,
make it
that's
easy
better.
for you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when you're like 3 wines in, 2 a.m., you just want to give a rose. Sometimes you'll pay and give 2 roses because you want a second
How much
rose.
did a rose cost?
I also pay for Hinge. So it's around the same cost as Bumble. I know.
Mate, you need a pay
And what
rise.
happened
You need a pay rise to pay
when
for all
you,
these apps.
When you got the
I can
rose?
claim it on
when
tax for talking about it, right?
you gave the rose, what happened?
Nothing happened because I looked like a loser. It's so bad.
I have anxiety dreams about being on the apps because I've met my partner before the apps were around, and so I've never been on the apps before. And sometimes I'll have, recurring anxiety dreams about I have to get on the apps and I've never done it before.
That
and
is
I feel-
so
yeah.
unfortunate for you. I feel really bad for you.
Sorry.
It's that time of year where we all collectively realize that we don't actually own any good long sleeve shirts. If you can relate but you don't want to blow your budget, you have to check out eBay. It's packed with quality clothes from trusted sellers, including the global and Australian brands we actually wear. I know we're all trying to be a bit more sustainable, so shopping pre-loved on eBay is such a win for the circular economy. Clothes get a second life and you get something brand new to introduce to your wardrobe. You'll find so many options, whether you're into designer brands or you just want something that does the job. Plus, eBay's authenticity guarantee means you can shop with confidence. Every item gets checked by professionals before it lands at your door, so you know it's authentic. Everyone has a thing. Shop your pre-loved fashion thing on eBay.